Hey everybody, it's Christina from Challenger Learning Center, here to talk to you today about bridges. So this video works alongside the video where the book Javier Builds a Bridge is read aloud. So if you want to kind of have a better understanding of where this video is coming from, go ahead and watch that one. But today we are going to be building 3 different types of bridges. And talking about what makes those bridges unique. And then your goal is going to be to design a bridge of your own from these 3 different types of bridges. And your ultimate goal is to have it carry as much weight as possible. So the 3 different bridge types that we're going to be talking about are the beam bridge, the arch bridge, and the suspension bridge. Keep in mind that some bridges that we see in the world are a combination of different types of bridges. So as you are trying to design your own bridge, just keep that in mind. So being that this activity is an engineering challenge or an activity that challenges your problem-solving skills, the materials that are used are a recommendation. We don't want you using anything too crazy, but the idea is that you can create a bridge out of cardboard and paper with some added materials to help that can hold the most amount of weight. So with that being said, here are the materials that are recommended that you have in order to complete this challenge. First, you'll want a piece of cardboard. You'll want this cardboard piece to be long and about 8 inches wide, give or take. You'll need some string, some index cards, some packaging or duct tape, clothespins, and books. You can also use construction paper. If you have blocks at home, you could use blocks. If you have any toy cars, those could be your weight that you want to add to these bridges. So just keep in mind that all of this is it's very optional as far as what you can use, but just keep in mind that you want to be making this bridge primarily out of paper and cardboard to test your problem-solving skills. So the first type of bridge is what we call a beam bridge. It's a very basic design, but basically you just have beams or long support systems that help support the weight on the bridge. There's not really much else to it, so I'm using my books as the beams for my bridge. And you'll notice that I do have them spaced out. I want you guys to think about what would happen if I spaced out my beams more or if I spaced out my beams less. Keep in mind that bridges typically are a way to get over a waterway. So you don't necessarily want to block the entire waterway with beams every 2 feet. But it is something to consider as engineers are building bridges, how far away these beams should be. So just to give you guys a little taste, I've got one of my heavier books and I'm going to put it right in between 2 beams. And you'll notice that the weight is supported pretty well. There's no bowing of the bridge, so it's not bending in any weird way. So overall, this is a pretty strong bridge, I would say. For our second bridge type, I got a little creative, and remember when I said at the beginning of the video that when it comes to engineering challenges, a lot of it just has to do with using what you have at your disposal. So for this bridge, instead of using books, I found soapboxes to act as part of my beams for this bridge. But this bridge is not a beam bridge. This bridge is an arch bridge. So hopefully you'll notice that next to the beams, I have created paper arches that add a little bit of stability to this bridge. And so if we take, again, that heavy book, we can place it on the bridge, and you'll notice that the bridge seems to be able to hold even more weight. So I could definitely add on some extra books, but the beam bridge and the arch bridge are very similar. A lot of it just has to do with the shape of the support system. So instead of just having rectangular beams, you now have an arch. It adds a little bit more of a decorative touch to the bridge. Next, we'll tackle the third and final bridge. So this is our third and final bridge. It's called a suspension bridge, and it's called that because it is suspended above air using suspension cables. Now, typically these are made of some sort of metal, steel usually, but for our bridge, I use string. So the string is holding up the cardboard piece along with some clothespins that are acting as kind of the anchor points. And I want you to notice that I didn't use the heavier book that I was using for the other two bridges. I used two lighter books, and this bridge is still caving towards the middle. So for the three bridges that I built, this is definitely the weakest bridge, but there are ways that I can make it stronger. So as you guys are building your bridge, I want you guys to consider that. So now you've seen the three bridge types: beam, arch, and suspension. Now it's your turn. I want you guys to design your very own bridge using either the beam, the arch, the suspension, or a combination of any one of those bridges. And remember that we're trying to make it out of cardboard and paper for the most part, and we're trying to make it as strong as possible. So gather up some heavy books around your house and start building. See you next time, guys.